What's up, guys? Welcome back to my countdown to Endgame. I am 5 movies away from being done, and then we are all set and ready to go for Avengers Endgame. Today I'm talking about the third installment of the Thor series, Thor Ragnarok, released in 2017. This is by far my favorite Thor movie of the 3. The first one was so-so, it was okay. The second one was not so good, my least favorite out of all the movies. This one made up for the last two. It has a new sense of style, a new storyline. We're not just going back and forth from Asgard to Earth. We're trying new things, and the director, which I know I'm going to mispronounce, it's Taika Waititi. He was a great pick for this movie. He wanted a movie that had a sense of the 70s and 80s type of retro style, and he definitely pulled it off with this movie, and I think that's the majority of the reason why it worked so well. I just love the cast for this movie. Everyone was great. You have returning Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Hiddleston, Idris Elba, Anthony Hopkins, all coming back because their previous roles that they played, along with Tessa Thompson playing Valkyrie. You have Jeff Goldblum, which I love him in this movie, as the Grand Master, and the villain is Cate Blanchett. Who better to play a villain than her? Playing Hela, another great performance. For anyone that's unfamiliar with the term Ragnarok, according to Norse mythology, that is a prophesized event in Asgard regarding most of the characters in that mythological world, such as Odin, Loki, Thor, and leading to their deaths and the fall of Asgard. And that's what's pretty much going on in this movie. Thor had this foreshadowing, this vision in Age of Ultron where he saw the Infinity Stones along with a prediction of what would happen to Asgard, so he knew something was coming. So this movie's pretty much that foreshadowing that he saw in Age of Ultron that leads into this storyline. So I think this is a well-written story. A lot happens in it, but quick overview in a nutshell, you find Thor and Loki at the beginning of the film looking for Odin, eventually finding him on Earth in Norway thanks to Doctor Strange. Odin tells Thor that he has a sister named Hela. Hela eventually approaches them and tells them that she's the rightful queen of Asgard and wants to claim the throne. As they're getting to the Bifrost, Hela follows them, taking them out of the Bifrost, sending them to the planet of Sakaar, where they're both taken captive by the Grand Master. And eventually they meet Hulk, which is on the planet, and Valkyrie, and they all end up teaming up to try to escape the Grand Master, head back to Asgard in order to avoid this prophesized Ragnarok that's going to happen there. And as everything's happening in Sakaar, we keep going back and forth from that planet to Asgard, and we see Hela trying to take control of that city and proving that she is the rightful queen of Asgard. I know I already mentioned this before, but I gotta say how much I love the movie in regards to the style. A very 70s and 80s vibe to it, very retro, colors popping everywhere in the production design, and just everywhere you see there's bright colors, especially on Sakaar, and it reflects those decades for sure. The music, of course, 70s and 80s, just like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. And my favorite song in this movie, I gotta say, is The Immigrant Song. Is probably everyone else's favorite, from Led Zeppelin, and you hear about 2 times in this movie. And fun fact, some of you may already know this, Led Zeppelin is not really known to give out a lot of his music to use in film. Only a small handful he's done that, and this of course is one of them. And this one has a good reason to be in this film, because if you read the lyrics of The Immigrant Song, it references a lot of Norse mythology. So not only did it sound good lyrically and music-wise to be put into the film, it just made a lot of sense that this was the song that reflected what was going on in Asgard. So the question is, how does this connect to MCU and Endgame? As you all know, we see these characters again in Infinity War, but this is the movie that begins Thanos' quest to collect all the Infinity Stones. As you see in the post-credits scene, Loki and Thor think all is well after escaping Asgard. Well, that was only the beginning of their problem.
Do you really think it's a good idea to go back to Earth?
Yes, of course. The people of Earth love me. I'm very popular.
Let me rephrase that. Do you really think it's a good idea to bring me back to Earth?
Probably not, to be honest. I wouldn't worry, brother. I feel like everything's gonna work out fine.
Last shot we see of the ship eventually goes to the first shot of Infinity War, where we see Thanos commandeering the transporter and taking the first of the 6 Infinity Stones. I don't know if this is going to happen, but another theory I had with this film is that with Endgame, if the time travel theory is true and they go back in time to prevent Thanos' snap from happening, maybe in the process Thor can alter Ragnarok from ever happening and he can live back in Asgard again. That's just a thought of mine. That'd be cool if that happened. And if he did, he'd be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He'd be getting back his home that he lived in his whole life, and preventing Thanos from claiming victory of wiping out half the universe. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I could be wrong on these theories, but it's just fun to think of a way that this movie could connect to that. It'd be cool if Thor could prevent Ragnarok from happening if they do go back in time. But tell me your thoughts on that. Tell me how much you like this Thor movie. It is my favorite. I think it's a great movie. I never get tired of this one. This is one of the best recent entries we've had after the last few. So tell me your thoughts on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Next video will be Black Panther. I'm hoping to have this one and Black Panther up around the same day. So look forward to that. I hope you'll have a good night. See you at the movies.